Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We got experts. We got hurricanes on the way. We got hurricanes moving to the top of the college football charts. Yikes.
We got allergies.
We got allergies in Dallas. You get you taken care of with some local honey. Welcome into the big show, folks. Thanks for joining us. We got lots of fun things to share with you today as we talk 2 hours of Tampa Bay sports centric as we do each and every day here. Good morning to you, Tim Ham, IndyCar Tim from our Dallas affiliate, DSP Media. What's up, partner?
Good morning. I just went on DoorDash and ordered some local honey.
There you go. That's the way you handle those allergies.
JP's
Let the bees do it for you. Yeah.
You know how much it cost me, JP?
How much?
I got 6 ounces of local North Texas honey here. $22.
That's a lot, seems like.
Well, if it fixes this, it's worth every penny. That's all I'm telling you.
Now, is that including the DoorDash fee?
Yeah, that's everything. So
see, that's what you're paying for.
No, yeah, delivery was like $4.
You need to go out to the local. Yeah, but they jacked the price up 35%. You gotta remember that.
I know. I buy everything.
That's how they get you. It's how they get you. It's how they get you. So you gotta pay attention. All right, so we got lots to get to today. Scott Reynolds is going to join us at 10:30, and TJ Reeves at 11:30. I'm sure TJ will regale us with hurricane stories of yonder days. I will instruct him. He got stories. We got stories. We always have great stories. I've got great hurricane stories. If you live in Florida as long as I have, 60 years.
Oh yeah.
You've been through a lot of them. But I've never actually, in growing up in Hollywood, we took a couple direct hits, but they weren't like major. I wasn't down there for the big one.
Were you down there for Hugo?
No, not Hugo. What was the big one that went through Homestead? I think it started with a D.
I thought that was Hugo.
Was that Hugo?
That was Hugo, the one that destroyed Homestead. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I did go down there on a doing a journalistic documentary piece. I was working with some people at the time. We went down there about 6 months after, and I still couldn't believe it. Like, holy crap, that place! If that hurricane would have jogged about 10 miles north and hit Miami Beach, can't even imagine. Can't even imagine the devastation, because it just took concrete homes right off the slab.
Yeah, and we found out later they were not built to any specific codes either, but that was part of the deal.
But still, concrete.
Oh yeah,
the roofs were gone. But
I went down there like the next year for the IndyCar because they had just built the Homestead racetrack down there, and I went down for the first IndyCar race like a year later, and it was like going to see Katrina damage, several years later. It was just bad.
Yeah, I went through Katrina a year after too. Went into some of the lakeshore area where they had the most expensive homes, and like driving through that, my buddy took me by his old house, which was abandoned. And, really like nice house, like nice 4,000 square foot, beautiful home and all of that area. And seeing those homes, I mean, that was like, wow. I mean, how much, that's a lot of money. All those homes, when you think of South Tampa, where there's just, the value of those homes is through the roof. A storm comes through there and destroys those. Like, I don't even know from an economic standpoint, the insurance coverage of that deal. Well, as much money as they take in on a yearly basis, you would think they'd have a nice nest egg built up to pay off these things, but evidently that's not how it works. But anyway, it's when Tampa, if ever, gets a direct hit. And this one is Helene. I'm not going to go crazy on this one. It should be a category 2 or 3 by the time it is offshore in Tampa. Now you're going to get the business end of that, obviously on the right, the right side as we look at it on a map, the east side of the storm. So that's going to, and that could really push the storm surge up into Tampa Bay, which is what you're really, really worried about. You don't necessarily have to have a direct hit. In fact, if it's jogs, if you're talking about Steinhatchee or Newport Richey in that area, that's where the storm surge is going to be the biggest and if it hits high tide, and you're really you got issues. So this is one to take seriously at this point, no question about it. But again, don't go freaking bananas over it just yet.
Don't buy all the sand quite yet. Just leave some for somebody else.
Well, first of all, yeah. But here's the other thing. Like when I owned a home in Davis Islands, I went and got sandbags for one of the storms. Okay. Uh-huh. I kept the sandbags in my shed. Like, do people throw sandbags away? Like, what are you doing? Like, stack them up in your shed or in your backyard.
Right.
So when the next time it comes, you have them. I don't understand how people have to go out and get new sandbags every time.
It's like moving boxes. Save your moving boxes.
Yeah. They're not that hard. Yeah. So just be smart about it and keep an eye on it and be prepared. Just be prepared. Most of that stuff you should have in your home anyway. And don't go out and go fill up your bathtub with water. That's always a good idea. Just the basic stuff. You guys know what to do. But as far as football goes, the game's on Sunday at 1:00, Raymond James. USF, I believe, is on the road this week at Tulane, which I don't think they're going to get the Storm in New Orleans. So by the time these games come around, too, on Saturday, the Storm should be up in Kentucky. And certainly for the Bucs, it won't even be near. But obviously, if there's a lot of damage that's done and a lot of resources have to be allocated to that, but I'm thinking there won't be any postponement of this game, or they're talking about that just yet. So I think things should be fine. But anyway, let's get into. You want to talk about the games last night since they were so impactful?
Sure,
in a lot of different ways. First of all, wow, that win over the Commanders looks pretty good.
It really does, doesn't it?
The 2-1 Commanders who laid it on the Bengals last night, didn't punt last night. Jaden Daniels, 21 of 23, 250 yards. 3 touchdowns last night? Still has yet to throw a pick. And by the way, comparing with Caleb Williams, 80% completion percentage to his 59, 8.7 yards per attempt to his 5.3. 0 turnovers for Jaden Daniels to Caleb's 5.
Yeah.
As we told you at the beginning, Bears, you effed it up. You took the wrong guy.
Yeah, 2 touchdown passes.
The wrong guy.
And you ran one in.
And this shouldn't even be hindsight. It shouldn't even be hindsight because I said this 1,000 times in the draft. Caleb Williams playing in the Pac-12, running around, playing outside the pocket, creative stuff, great athlete, unbelievable arm, running to your mom, and crying, I thought was a little much. Over dramatic for a guy that's going to have to lead an alpha locker room. All those things to me were like, okay, now let's compare it to Jaden Daniels. I mean, that guy played in the SEC against the greatest competition, torched them repeatedly, torched them. I thought a better runner, a better pocket passer, a more accurate passer, and one hell of a young man. If you saw his post-game interview last night, deflecting everything to everyone else, giving the Lord all the praise. I love that stuff.
Sure.
Great character, young man, fantastic young kid. That's why I bet on him for Offensive Rookie of the Year, drafted him on my fantasy team. Like an idiot. I went with Baker this week instead of Jaden Daniels. My entire I lost to John Smoltz again, 3 times in a row now. And every time my starters were 30 points less than my bench. So that's not good, right? That means you pretty much screwed up everything. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
But before the game, I was texting him before the game, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in a league where you have to sit your starters 3 weeks. So you look at weeks where you think you're overmatched, and you just put out your second best. You don't go with your best guys because you want to hold them back." That's what he did this week. He looked at my team and like, oh, no, I got no chance against, Saquon and Jamar Chase. And like, I got no chance. So he put his second team in and they won like that. I went with the Bucs defense against the Broncos instead of the Packers defense. And the Packers defense, of course, scored 30 points.
Right.
So anyway, I lose again to Smoltzy, but he will come on my show. So that's good. We should have him on the show this week.
Well, he should keep coming on your show if he keeps winning over you. I mean, heck, why not? That's bragging rights.
Exactly. So come on and gloat, and maybe we'll squeeze some baseball talk out of you.
Heck
Are they still playing baseball?
They are still playing baseball. Yeah, okay. It's still a thing.
I think for some reason, I don't know if it's just because of the Rays, we're just an afterthought from like a month ago, even though they're still in the race mathematically,
right?
Oddly enough. It just seems like football is just taking over. Like I don't see hardly any baseball highlights at all on SportsCenter. Like it just outside of Shohei Ohtani, is there anything going on baseball wise?
No, not really. The Rangers are out of it, so I quit. I mean, I'm still watching the games, but my interest obviously is starting to shift. I mean, it's full football right now, but tell you what, it's hockey preseason, and my focus is shifting.
Yeah, that's right. I knew you were wrong.
Oh, it was Hurricane Andrew. I'm sorry. Yes, you are correct.
I knew there was a D in there somewhere.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct.
Thank you, LL Marks. Appreciate that. Yeah, yes. Hurricane Andrew. Yeah, I've been through so many of them. I lose track of the names.
Which one was Hugo? Now, Hugo was another big one, right?
Yeah, Hugo was big. Hugo was big, but I lose track of them.
That hit Florida too, but that was
I believe it did. Yeah. So Jaden Daniels and their 38-33 win over the now 0-3 Bengals. The 0-3 Bengals.
They're out.
And Joe Burrow. Yeah, only one team in the last 215, I think, that started 0-3 has made the playoffs. That was the 2018 Texans. And I mean, it's hard to believe that with all that talent, the Bengals are 0-3. But that's what happens when you have holdouts, shenanigans, all kinds of stuff going on. And that organization, and it's not just Jamar Chase. When you have a player like that, everybody else seems to find ways to pay the best players, except the Bengals. Like, why is that? You're just a cheap organization. You make as much money as every other team in the league in terms of your television money. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you? Your ownership sucks, Cincinnati. I hate to say that, but and we know bad ownership with the Rays. But it sucks for the. I have a good friend of mine who's a Bengals fan, and he's just like, they're awful. These owners are just awful. Like, just pay the dude. The damn salary cap's doubling in 7 years. With this new TV contract, just pay the guy. I know it seems like a lot of money, but it's really 50 cents on the dollar from 5 years ago, which is, I'm sure, where your brain is as an ownership group. Just pay the effing money and move on. He's got one of the best players in the league. Just freaking pay him. You got a quarterback and a wide receiver combo that is elite. That's how you win. Pay him. Figure out the rest of it. That's where your advantage is. They're on your team. And then when you don't pay them, it permeates through the entire team. You know, they're like, what happens when it's my turn? Yeah, exactly. We all know. Exactly. Yeah. It's just dumb organizations do dumb things. And that's why the Bengals are 0-3. And I saw NFL memes had a picture of Joe Burrow leaving last night in his outfit.
Oh, yeah.
With his frosted tips. And it says Ellen DeGeneres. And the Bengals are 0-3.
What is he doing?
I was like, yes. That's exactly what it looks like.
What is he doing? I feel like, look, I'm not a fan of Ellen DeGeneres, but I feel like that's doing a disservice to Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know who that cuts down more.
Maybe. But
what is he doing, man?
I like Joe Burrow. He's a great player.
He
deserves better. I mean, but I saw Chris Canny, I think, going off on Joe Burrow this morning, like, you are 0-3. I'm like, the defense never got a stop. They never punted last night. When the other team doesn't punt, tough for the quarterback to affect the game. I mean, Burrow had a great night. Jamar Chase had a great night.
So did you hear the same stat that I heard? I think this is what I heard. That's the first game in the history of the NFL that hasn't had a turnover or a punt.
I did not hear that, but
I heard that on like the post game. I swear, I know it was turnovers or it was punts. I think the other stat was turnovers. No punts, no turnovers for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Again, I'm not blaming Joe Burrow for the loss last night.
No.
First, we acknowledge that Jaden Daniels is really good. He's really freaking good.
I mean, Joe Burrow was 29 of 38 for 324 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. I don't think you hang this on him. But sometimes you got to tip your cap to the other team. And this Washington team has got some stuff. They got some stuff. You know, Jaden Daniels is really good.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin is really good. Their defense is not bad.
No, well, and I thought the strength of this team would be the defense, especially with Dan Quinn now taking over as head coach and all of the freaking defensive players he stole from the Cowboys, who apparently were all of the good defensive players, because look at the Cowboys defense now. But
he would know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he would know that. But, dude, they allowed 37 against Tampa Bay. They allowed 18 against the Giants, and they allowed 33 against the Bengals. So, I mean, they're not horrible, but, man, this offense is what's winning games.
It's scary. It's going to be scary. Yeah, they've got some pieces, this Washington team. So that Bucks win the first week, and I said when the schedule came out, I'm glad we're getting Jaden Daniels in week 1. I'm very glad we're getting Jaden Daniels in week 1, because by week 7, that dude's going to be tearing up the league. And Baker, you are hitting my bench. You will not see the field for the rest of the year. It's Jaden Daniels, because he runs that RPO. We saw it last night in the red zone, man. It's unstoppable. He's a great runner. Now, he seems so frail, but, man, he stuck his nose in there a couple of times last night, which I did not like. Like, dude, but he did slide a couple of times as well. He's getting good at sliding. I'm just telling you, man. Yeah, if you're a Chicago Bears fan, you should have seen this coming. This was not hard. This was not a hard – to me, it was never even a question.
No.
I mean, look at it. Look where the kid played.
No.
In the SEC, he
was never on my radar.
Compared to where Caleb played.
Yeah, he was never on my radar.
You watched him. You watched what he did. He's running around. That ain't going to play in the NFL.
Especially his final year in college. He was not good.
Yeah.
I saw something – look, I don't watch ESPN very often. I make it kind of a rule to not watch ESPN unless there's a game I'm watching on it. But this morning, as I turned my TV on, it was still on ESPN from the game last night. And I guess Jeff Saturday was on there doing some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And all I heard out of Jeff Saturday's mouth was, and this was a serious football segment they were doing on whatever show it was. Get Up, I guess.
Wait to hear this.
The Bears should have drafted Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. It's out. It's out now. The secret is out. I was like, it was never a secret. It was
never a secret, bro.
Oh, and by the way, hey, Jeff Saturday, the Chargers should have drafted Peyton Manning instead of Ryan Leaf, too. Hey, we knew that. Come on.
I mean, ridiculous. I mean, to me, this was never a thing. Like, did you watch Jaden Daniels play? Did you watch him play?
And especially
did you watch
with
Caleb
the number of
Williams?
Years he started in college.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah. Did you see the ball come out of his hands? Did you see those deep throws last night?
They were
How about
awesome.
that one in the corner of the end zone to McLaurin?
To ice the game. Yeah.
I mean, the one down the middle. I mean, his deep ball is so effing good. And every other ball is so – he throws such a tight spiral.
Yeah.
So accurate and can run. Man, can he run. I mean, you saw it even against the Bucs. Once he gets out and hits that gear, man, it's a different gear. It is a different gear. He's like he runs like Lamar, but he throws like Burrow. Actually, he may be a better thrower of the football than Burrow.
Better than Burrow throwing the ball.
I said that's in the draft. I said he's the best thrower of the football I've seen since Joe Burrow. Yeah. Joe has an elite arm talent and displayed elite arm talent. I think sometimes, especially with LSU, you're like, well, he had Brian Thomas. He had all these receivers. That's true. But did you see where he threw the ball to them? I mean, how they didn't win a national championship, I don't know, Brian Kelly. But how you lost to Florida State twice.
Oops.
Yeah, and that's back when FSU was good. By the way, Keon Coleman with his first touchdown last night. Jared Verse wrecking the league in L.A. along with Braden Fisk. I mean, we're starting to realize at FSU that this was a unusually talented portal class and team last year that went 13-0. That was a phenomenal, very talented football team. And Mike Norvell gets credit for recruiting those players and getting them to stay in Tallahassee. Absolutely 100%. But now that Jordan Travis is gone, a little sad. We're going to get to the Bucs. Don't worry, kids. We're going to get there in a second. Here are the numbers. I got to get this. Okay. This is from Corey Clark. With Jordan Travis as either Norvell's starting quarterback or primary quarterback, the Seminoles were 29-9, averaged 35.7 points per game and 199 rushing yards per game. 35 points, 36 points, and 200 yards rushing per game. In the other 13 games, started by the likes of James Blackman, Shubba Purdy, Mackenzie Milton, Tate Rodemaker, Brock Glenn, and DJ Uyunglele. The Seminoles are 2-11 and are averaging 15 points per game, 109 yards rushing.
Huh.
$60 million buyout for Mike Norvell.
Will it happen?
Can't happen. They don't have the money. They got legal bills to pay.
They don't have boosters?
They got boosters, but
put together a GoFundMe?
They're paying the legal bills at this particular point, and the stadium expansion.
Yeah.
And the new football only facility. And Mike Norvell's contract.
Yeah.
And Dewey. DJ Pooh's NIL contract as well. Yeah. So Mike Norvell came out yesterday and said he's still starting. And, it's just there's no objective way. This past game, I just watched that tape as well because I'm a glutton for punishment, was his worst game. And now he made 3 or 4 throws on third down, the big touchdown play at the end of the game that got him the dub or earlier in the game. And the defense held on for dear life to beat a very average Cal team, even though they were undefeated, and they beat Auburn. But it's bad. And what's coming for FSU can be a program wrecker. Like, they're so bad. Like, if you keeping DJ in there, and their offensive metrics are so bad. I mean, you look them up, they are 128th in everything. Like, they're worst. I mean, I could start naming some programs that they're worse than, and it's embarrassing. Like, you can't be this bad offensively. Like, you can't be. It's impossible with the talent you have at FSU with an offensive line like that, and the talent that you have there. And I'm not saying it's transformative offensive talent. It's not what I'm saying. But you could be average, 70th, and you're still bad offensively. You're 128th in many metrics. Like, that's horrific. It's because your quarterback is completely incompetent, and he is crushing you can't have an RPO offense with a quarterback that can't run and can't move. You can't do it. It's stupid. It's dumb. And that's exactly where they are. It kills you offensively. Like, you look at how teams are playing. The rush ends are coming down and hitting the running back. They have no worries about the quarterback pulling the ball. And when there's no worries for that, it just conceptually, it does not work. And Mike knows that. Mike knows that better than anybody. He can see the film. He can see how slow this kid is on everything he does. Like, it's like us watching a sloth play quarterback. Winding up to throw the ball.
We call that telegraphing our passes, JP.
Pull the ball out now. When headphones come on. Meanwhile, everybody's running at full speed. You're just like, whoa. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's why the numbers are where they are. There's no way. I've seen Brock Glenn play. He has 2 arms and 2 legs. He can't be worse than DJU.
Right.
He runs the football. The dude has some moxie to him. He is the prototype. We talk about this with Pat Burnham all the time. He's got a Casey Weldon comp. For those of you who don't remember him, he was a very talented, run around, make plays with your feet, could throw from the pocket, had a great live arm, very kind of Joe Montana-esque. That's not from the winning part, but obviously that's the way he was a smaller quarterback, but was really, really good and a playmaker. And that's what Brock Glenn looks like. That's what he looked like in high school with the minute and in the very limited stuff that we saw. And of course, in the Orange Bowl, he's playing against the best freaking defense in the league without any help whatsoever. So yeah, there's just no reason for it. And you got Luke Kromenhoek, who's a 5-star freshman. I know he's a freshman, but how can you not play these guys and start working for the future if you're FSU? I mean, it just makes zero sense. No sense whatsoever. And it's making everybody lose confidence in Mike Norvell, and rightfully so. I'm one of his biggest advocates and have been, but this is ridiculous. It's complete. And Clemson is going to beat you They could put 75 on the board. They could put 75. It could be 50-0 at halftime. And that's a program record. Like you can't, like you trying to recruit players and you're getting beat 50-0 at halftime by your chief rival. And they're not taking the foot off the gas. Trust me. They remember the COVID game where Norvell brought them down there to play. And then the morning of said, we can't play. They remember that. And they remember losing last year to an FSU team that they probably think they were better than. So yeah, absolutely. They are going to whoop your ass. And that's Clemson. And we haven't even gotten to Miami yet. And that's the reason you have to play Brock this week. You got to get him ready to play against Clemson and Miami. And I want to hear, well, you don't want to get him hurt behind the offensive line. I don't give a shiz about any of them. The only chance you got to beat any of these teams is to put a quarterback in there that's reasonably competent. And you better get him some snaps against SMU this week is perfect. SMU's defense is awful. It's a great confidence builder for the kid. Let him get out there and run and throw and have some success and put 40 points on the board. Then get ready for Clemson. And then you actually have a crowd. If I'm like an FSU fan, you think I want to go to Tallahassee and watch Clemson whoop our ass 75-0? No. And I'm just like everybody else. Plenty of good seats available to the Clemson game. Ain't nobody want to go see that. You're going to keep this up. You've lost the fan base. You probably lost the locker room because for whatever reason you want to stick with this kid, whether his dad's a problem or you're vocal or whatever you promised him. I don't give a rat's ass what you promised him. Your responsibility is to the fan base, to the boosters, and to your team, your players, and they all see what we see. Yeah. He's awful, and he gives you no chance to win, none, in a real game.
Guess where I'm going to be Saturday night, JP?
FSU SMU,
Gerald J. Ford Stadium on the hilltop, watching FSU and SMU.
Go say hi to Brock. He'll be on the sideline holding a clipboard. And please, if there's do you have any good defensive players at all on SMU?
Yeah.
I will pay them handsomely. Terrible. And I don't mean this in a mean way. I don't want you to hurt him really bad.
Putting out a bounty?
Just lay him down. I don't know.
Like, don't kill him or hurt him. Just get him out of the game, right? That's all you want.
I mean, and it's not his fault at this point. I'm not even mad at DJU. I think he's a nice young man. He's a great kid. He's been put in a terrible position because he's terrible. And, if I were him, I would go to the coach and go like, yeah, this is not working out.
Can I go back to Clemson?
Yeah. I don't know. He must feel terrible. He must feel terrible that he's this bad and he's holding his team back. He's got to. He can see it. Who can't? Anyway. All right. We got lots of time to get to the Buccaneers, and I've saved all of it for Scott Reynolds, who's coming up next. So we'll take a quick break. We are presented by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves, my traveling partner in Dublin. We had a great time watching FSU get their ass kicked there. But he is a tremendous attorney. If you've been involved in an accident or know someone who has, and you want to be a priority, not just a number in a big file group for another big law group, go to JeevesLawGroup.com. Get your appointment. Everything, the first consultation is free. Case evaluation is free. They'll answer any questions you have. They'll either take care of it or refer you to a great attorney. That is the Jeeves Law Group. JeevesLawGroup.com. Back at 3. September is here, and it's time to celebrate with the stunning birthstone of the month. It's Sapphire at the Gold and Diamond Source. Known for their natural beauty and glamorous allure, Sapphire's truth, sincerity, and faithfulness make it the perfect stone for September. During the 40th anniversary, you can find a special selection of this precious gemstone, from stunning rings and necklaces to elegant earrings and bracelets. Steve Weintraub handpicks every piece for its brilliance and its quality. The expert staff will help you find the perfect gift, whether it's for a loved one, a special occasion, or just to treat yourself. Visit the Gold and Diamond Source today, where you'll always find the perfect gift. It's more than jewelry, it's love. At the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and company will spend an inordinate amount of time with you, an hour and a half, whatever it takes to go over your blood work, your sleeping schedule, your workouts, your nutrition. When's the last time your doctor did all that? Never.
What doctor?
That's why he is my primary care physician and should be yours as well. Check him out. Just go to BAMMC.com and get an appointment, get your initial appointment. Take care of any hormone issues you have with testosterone. Trust me, you're probably low. And nutrition, all those things. Get your gut right. Get your immune system right. It's so important. It's medicine 3.0 is what we call it. It's way different than the usual Western medicine you grew up in, folks, because it's changed. And you need to have somebody who is an advocate for you, not an advocate for your insurance company. Because that's kind of how it works now. So go to Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. And you can have Chris be your primary care and direct your insurance-led stuff as well. You can get everything else paid for, go see your specialist, but have somebody in charge of your overall health that knows what they're doing and cares about you. Because, like I said, it's changed since I was young. Remember when you used to go to the doctor and you'd be like, oh, they kind of have your best interest in mind? You really don't get that feeling anymore.
No. And you said he'll do televisits?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because obviously the JP Peterson show isn't always just a local Tampa area sports show. We're nationwide here now.
That's right.
And I need some gut health advice. I need to give him a telehealth visit.
You can do all your testing. You just go to Quest or wherever you do, and get your test done, and then send him your blood work, and then he can go over it with you on a Zoom, and go your gut health as well. Like there are other tests that he has you do to test, what's going on in your gut, and then we'll recommend supplements and additives and a nutrition. Right. He's got a doctorate in nutritional science, so he will say, okay, this is what your blood work says, or your stool samples, or whatever whatever you need done, and you can find out what's going on in your gut. And your gut is everything. As I've learned from him, and when he comes on every Thursday, we talk about this. Your gut really kind of your immune system is tied to your gut, and obviously that keeps you healthy and strong. Your blood sugars and everything, your body chemistry is kind of regulated by your gut, what you put in your body and how it is consumed and digested. So it all starts there in your gut. And these are the things that I never knew that growing up. We didn't. There was the food pyramid, which is a joke. We know that now. Yeah. All of this corporate medicine now is geared towards supporting that machine than it is towards your health. And I think COVID really revealed that to everybody, that they're not on your side, man. They're just not. It's about the insurance companies making money. So have somebody direct your health and understand what's going on with you, and talk about your sleeping habits, and talk about your nutrition, and all these things that your doctor never talks to you about, probably. Yeah. So, and spends time with you. So that's, and I say this, yes, he is a paid advertiser. Absolutely. But I say this as a person I've never felt better. I've never felt stronger. I've never felt more healthy. I rarely get sick. My allergies aren't nearly what they used to be. There's a lot to it. And you just need somebody who knows what they're talking about and cares, and will take the time to do it. And, and then these other doctors are not bad people. They're just part of the machine. Right. And they just don't have time. They have to see a certain amount of patients every single day, or they get docked. They have to write a certain amount of scripts for certain stuff. They get, there's vaccine quotas for the kids. It's crazy. They get bonuses for how many vaccines they give out. That's not the way this is supposed to work. So I care about you people. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy. I want you to have great lives. So, go to Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com, get an appointment, and start yourself on a personal journey to health. Everything should be personalized for you, and that's the way it should be. So
Rick chimes in here and says, my call from Dr. Lugo would be, Tim, I have your blood work. Your blood type is ragu. Well, that's a step up, because normally I get your blood type is vodka. Yeah. Or Fireball.
It's Tito's. Are you
It's Tomstown now. My blood type would be Tomstown vodka.
It's Tomstown vodka?
Yeah, we've got a FanStream Sports sponsor, JP. I've got your free 2 bottles of Tomstown vodka and your 1 bottle of Tomstown bourbon right here in the studio cabinet waiting to bring to you.
Well, thanks, Tom. Appreciate that.
Yeah, they're it's great. Based out of Kansas City.
A quick audible here at the line of scrimmage. Scott Reynolds could not join us. Nothing bad going on.
How are they? Yeah, that's not good.
Some other business to take care of that popped up. So we always thank him for his time and his.
That means Jason Light called and wanted to do lunch.
Exactly. I'm not on the priority list. But we got plenty of bucks to talk about, so I saved it all for that. So Todd Bowles spoke to the media yesterday. And no, I don't think there was any eureka moments here, but Todd, what I do like about Todd is he doesn't make excuses. He doesn't illuminate the problems or give you a whole lot to go on, but he just says, we got to coach it better. We got to play it better. We got out coached, we got out hit, we got out hustled. He doesn't bullshit around. And I appreciate that. And he's not going to deny the fact that Bucky Irving is a better runner than Rachaad White. The numbers are off the charts at this point. So Rachaad White had 11 touches in the game for 35 yards total, rushing and receiving. That's not good. That's less than one of Bucky's runs. Bucky's averaging 5.2 yards per carry before contact, which is pretty damn good.
That's usually an offensive line stat too, though.
Yeah. He's third in the league in that category and ahead of Saquon and Derrick Henry. He's averaging 6.2 yards per carry to Rashad's 2.1. That's not, a product of this. Now he was the beneficiary of two very creative run plays, whereas Rashad is never really used in the creative runs. So let's just be fair about that. He got a reverse, but he's also picking the right holes, making the right cuts, falling. He's really good at breaking tackles at the end of the run and tacking on those extra 3-4 yards in the open field. He's just really, really good. His jump cuts, his vision, his burst to the hole. He's just better. That's all there is to it. He's just better. And, the Bucs have had a very, very, long and storied history of under Todd Bowles of waiting way too long to make necessary changes in personnel. And this one is as plain as day. Get him in there. He's your running back one now. End of story. Now, is he a better is Rachaad White a better pass protector? Yes, absolutely he is. He's bigger. He's more stout. You have to use him in those areas. But splitting carries is not a smart thing. Okay. And listen, we know for the most part, teams know when you're going to run the football. Early downs, first down, especially the Bucs, who again have a lot of tendencies towards running on first down. You are allowed to throw the ball, especially when you're down 3 scores in the fourth quarter. What are we doing? Running the ball and huddling up when you're down 3 scores with 7 minutes left in the game. That's unforgivable. I don't understand the lack of urgency there. That just seems like a very defensive, like Liam Cohen. What are you doing? Why are we huddling up 3 scores down? That's not with 7 minutes to go. You have a chance. You can get 3 possessions. You have 3 timeouts. There's 7 minutes left in the game. You can get 3 possessions. But you cannot spend 6 minutes driving the football. You can't do it. You got to score in 2 minutes. That's the deal. It's 2 minutes left on the clock, not 7. It's 2. You got to do it. And that was, it was almost like they were giving up with 7 minutes to go, which pisses me off. Really pisses me off. Especially when I need 13 more yards from Chris Godwin to make my parlay. But that has nothing to do with it.
It sure does.
What are you doing? 7 minutes left. You think Tom Brady's not huddling up with 7 minutes left? No, let's go. By the way, Brady's coming to Tampa this week to do the game. His reviews have not been good.
You know what? Look, he's called every Cowboys game, I think, right? So far.
Have you? And what are your thoughts? I listened to about a half this week, and it was bad.
Okay, well,
super
in week
awkward,
1, I gave my thoughts on him in week 1. I didn't think it was good, but I saw potential. I thought it would get better. This week I thought he was okay.
Really?
I thought he was more conversational. I thought his points were more poignant. I thought they were. I thought he was better. Like I don't have a problem with him after this week. I think him and Burkhardt have a great back and forth. They've got great chemistry.
Okay.
I almost, for a couple of minutes there, a couple of times, I almost forgot I was listening to Tom Brady.
Well, that'd be good.
I didn't have a problem with it at all this week. I thought he was.
I thought it was very generic. Like there wasn't. I know there's way more in there. I know there's way. It sounds to me like he's trying not to offend anybody. He's got to get over that.
Stop. Yeah.
He because you hear him talk about, we've dumbed it down for quarterbacks. I want to hear that. Yeah. I want to hear that analysis. I want to, stop thinking about, people are going to rip you anyway, bro. Give it to us. Give us what you got. Give me that Tom Brady intensity that you had when you were playing. Because I'm sure you see things on the field where you're like, that's horse crap. What is that guy doing? Well, then say it, and say it with your chest. I feel like I could just hear him like overthinking everything as he's saying. And everything he says is obvious. He knows more than that. You got to give me that. You got to give me that.
Well, this will be the first real test because this will be the first time he's playing against guys he just recently played or calling against guys he recently played with, right?
Yes.
So we'll see if he can be critical of some of the guys on the Bucs offensive line, if he can be critical of some guys on the defense, of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know, well, so this will be good. But you know what? I think for
by the way, the answer to that is no, he won't be.
You and I watched football differently than the casual fan, obviously. But I think for the casual fan, I think he's growing on the casual fan just because he's a lot smoother than he was in week 1 in Cleveland. I think he and Burkhardt have built a little bit more conversational type quality, and I think
that. I don't care.
I do. I want to hear two guys that are friends calling the game.
Yeah, I don't want them fighting.
I just don't want awkward stuff.
There was a couple of guys. Oh, when Gruden was with Sean McDonough.
Oh God, yeah. Neither one of those guys wanted to be there.
No, they did not. A lot more to that than you want to hear.
Yeah.
Buck Spacebit says, and I think he kind of nails it here. This team needs to get a stud pass rusher in free agency. No more BS experimenting. It has not worked. Otten is just a guy. He scares no one. Bowles face planting after 2-0 once again. Oh, easy on the face plant, Buck. Easy on the face plant. I mean, we all knew this. We all knew this is lacking. Braswell through 3 weeks has shown me nothing. He had an opportunity. Yeah, he had an opportunity to make a play on Bo Nix and just whiffed. He's not. I see him. I haven't seen any varied moves coming off the edge. I haven't seen a power move. I haven't seen anything that I go, ooh, look at that. That guy got some pass rush ability. Nothing.
So more of a project? Do you think he's got potential, or is this just going to
we're not giving up
this a bust?
We're not giving up 3 weeks in.
I was going to say, yeah.
The biggest problem is right now is they got no push up the middle. Because they have no Vita Vea or Cansey.
Yeah.
And they're, as I said from day one, they're not doing anything without those two guys. And Cansey has this calf injury that just seems to keep chronic at this point. This is 2 years in a row. And so this is really, really a problem for him. I don't know what he's doing in the offseason, but he's got to be able to show up and play. And he hasn't been able to do that. That's not good. And Vita Vea is, getting older. He was in a knee brace on the sideline. He's got a strained MCL. Listen, did they probably, because he tried to work on Friday, he was questionable. Did they probably say, hey, let's see if we can beat this team without him? Yeah, they probably did. And that was probably a smart move because you can only go on what you've seen. And Denver had not been good. They'd not been good. They came in here and turned it around. And Bo Nix, I think, is a talented quarterback. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in his league. Him and Sean Payton will get it together. I always thought that even after the first 2 weeks. I just didn't think it would be week 3. And, of course, I think and Bowles addressed this a little bit yesterday, but the defense scheme was so soft and played into the hands of a rookie. Why? I know he beat you a couple times on the blitz early on, but to just throw it away at that point and just, play soft coverage all game long and just have him just snap the ball and throw a 6-yard out. I mean, he did that probably 15 times and they're in 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. I know I talked a lot about this yesterday, but that is just not a recipe of attacking a rookie quarterback. And I don't know what the hell Todd Bowles was thinking. And when you got a team that is clearly flat, like your team was flat, and I got to question, Todd he's a former player, and I think I'm just going to say this. I think he rests his players too much. He rests them too much, and they had a tough game. I get it. 83 plays, victory Monday. They're off Tuesday. Wednesday they didn't do much. Thursday they were indoors for a walkthrough. Right. I mean, it's too much. And no wonder you came out flat. You've been sitting on the freaking couch all week. I don't think I know. And listen, he knows his team better than I do. And he has all the data points and all the metrics of what they've expended. They have all that stuff now that they have in their catapult jerseys. Sometimes I think it's too much information. I don't think you can sit around that much and then go out against a desperate team and play football because they were flat. Whatever. Listen, I know this. Whatever he did this week, don't ever do it again. because your team had zero fire, and we're flat. And, you say, okay, we're 2-1. It's where we thought we'd be, but that's not how you win championships. That is not the mark of a championship team. The mark of a championship team is what Kansas City does. They come out and play their C- game and they win every freaking week, and because they're playing at least with some effort and intensity that your team did not play with. And I know they have Patrick Mahomes. I get that. That helps. But I didn't see Kansas City come out flat and have no intensity. I understand this is a young football team, mostly made up of first and second year players who are playing a lot. I get that. But you have to have a culture that does not accept laying down at home after you coming off a big win, because it negates the big win. Like, the big win is now negated. It's meaningless because you lost to an inferior team and got your ass handed to you physically. I mean, that is a bad sign. Now, listen, I know the injuries are a problem, and sometimes it's hard to be intense. Well, actually, it's not. They played the second half against the Detroit Lions without these guys, and you were knocking their D in the dirt, the artificial dirt. But where was that? Where's that fire? That's got to be on the coach. The coaching staff has got to be able to get them going. I would like to compare the Sean Payton speech to the Todd Bowles speech. Like, Sean Payton whooped your ass again. What did he do schematically? I didn't see anything brilliant except take what you were giving him, which was everything. If you're going to give them 7-8 yards on first down all day long, here's another thing. One of the reasons your offense is bad is because you're not getting many touches. The defense is giving up time of possession. He likes to play the bend, don't break, and that's okay. They're playing great red zone defense, but unfortunately, the opponent has the ball 90% of the time. Okay, your defense is getting tired, and your offense has hardly any possessions to work with. So you're not getting a lot of plays on offense because your defense is out there all day, and the defense is out there all day because your offense is going 3 and out. That doesn't help either. So it's discombobulated right now. And the 2-1, this team looks like, okay, you beat what appears to be a pretty good Commanders team. You beat a great Detroit team, but then you lay down against a Denver team that isn't that good. I don't think.
No, and I it looked to me, and I didn't get to watch the entire game. I went back and watched some of the highlights afterwards, so I didn't get the full plate of it. But it looked to me like the Bucs may have been underprepared for the Broncos.
Yes, very much so.
It looks like they, you hate to say this about any team and any opponent, but it looks like maybe they overlooked the Broncos and Bo Nix a little bit.
The players said that.
I'm not a Bo Nix fan. I don't think Bo Nix is going to amount to a hill of beans in the NFL at any point of his career. Even working with Sean Payton, who is a quarterback guru, and I love Sean Payton. I've gotten drunk with Sean Payton. But nothing. It's the Caleb a little bit. I don't have many I can drop, so I have to take advantage of it when I do. But it's the kind of the same thing with Caleb Williams. Bo Nix had all of his success in the Pac-12. He sucked at Auburn. And I never saw anything, but I mean, he showed me something Sunday for sure against the Bucs.
He made some great throws. He made some really, really, really good, confident throws, and he can run. Tell you what, he can run. He was his quickness to top speed was impressive.
Yeah,
he got out of a couple of situations that were really, really impressive, and I think if he can be, and he throws an accurate ball. I think he's got good arm strength. Those first 2 passes could not have been better. Right. And I think that kind of set the stage for I don't know why you back off the rest of the game because of 2 passes, but there it was. The rest of the game, you're playing cushion. And especially Jamel Dean, I don't get that whatsoever.
Right.
But yeah, I think Bowles was not aggressive in his calling, which led to a soft mindset for the defense. How do you tackle so well one week and so poorly the next? Because you've been sitting on the couch all week eating bonbons, as Mom used to say. You can't. That looked like a team that had, you were rested, but sometimes maybe too much. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but it didn't work. Whatever you did this week, don't ever do it again in terms of preparation because your team was flat.
And I don't know that that's something that Todd Bowles will change.
True.
Because I don't know that he'll understand that that's a problem.
And here's the other issue. As Buck's Basement mentioned, and Jeremy Lowe mentions, man, we need Vea and Cansey back. That's for goddamn sure we do, because their pass rush is absolutely terrible. Bucks are in trouble if both DTs are out again today. Yes, and by the way, JTS fans, yes, he played well. Joe Tryon played well against Detroit, made a couple plays, but he was back to his non-existent self last week without Cansey, and he's so easy to block. He's so easy to block against any competent tackles. He can't get any pressure whatsoever. And Yaya, he had some moments, but he's the only one out there. He's getting double teamed, chipped, every protection sliding his way. He's good, but he ain't that good yet. He's not good enough to beat slide protection. So now you've neutralized him. Nobody else can win one-on-one. You're gonna have to bring some pressure or manufacture some stuff, because you've had 100 dropbacks in 2 games and 0 sacks. And I know you're getting some pressures, but you got to get the guy on the ground. You got to hit him. Bo Nix got hit twice. Didn't get sacked, got hit twice. That's it. You barely breathed on him. And he ran, and he came up with some really big runs, one for a touchdown, one for a huge first down to set up another score. I mean, it's Bo Nix. You just weren't ready to play. And that goes on the coach. That goes on the coach and the players, obviously. The players play. They're ultimately responsible for their effort and or lack of effort. And that was piss poor. I mean, piss poor. Now you got an Eagles team coming in here that's found a little something. They've got a little bit of confidence coming in. They're 2-1. Jalen Hurts is, yes, I think he's thrown a pick in every game, right? Uh-huh. So, but they get a win, and they'll come in with a little bit of confidence. And they'll be pissed off.
And a little bit of revenge.
Season last year, and you whooped their ass last year. And here's the worst part about it. And we didn't talk a lot about this yesterday, but we were going to today. How many Eagles fans are going to be there? Denver is halfway across the freaking, or more than halfway across the freaking. I didn't realize how many Denver fans lived in the Tampa Bay area, but my God. I mean, the entire lower bowl, Broncos fans, really? Like at least 20,000. 15 to 20,000. Now, listen, the Bucks are doing a lot. I've talked to Brian Ford about this. They're trying to track it. They can't track everything because there are people that they may have season ticket holders that don't sell their tickets on Ticketmaster. That are, that actually were not. I think the issue is, and this is just my reading of it, when Brady came here, you had a lot of ticket brokers come in and buy up these season tickets. And so now they're just, they can track them if they sell them on Ticketmaster, but they can't track them if they're selling them privately.
Right.
So, and ticket brokers have private lists that they sell to. So they're not going to go through Ticketmaster. They're going to go through, just like me, walking over to my neighbor and him handing me cash. They can't track that. Right. And then me sending you can transfer them to anybody you want. Now they can track that if you're transferring the tickets, I guess, because there are no paper tickets. But if I'm transferring it to my friend, that shouldn't be an issue, right? But so it's harder. It's harder to track. And it's just Bucks fans have to keep their tickets. And I know we had people in this group. They're like, it's a 1:00 game in September. I'm selling my tickets, but I'm selling them to the Bucks fans. Okay. So there's plenty of desire out there to go to the games. We just have to make sure that you're selling them to Bucks fans. If there's a way to do that, I'm not sure.
How do you do that? If it's all electronic, and you meet these people electronically, and you're not meeting them in person, you can't tell if they're wearing an Eagles hat or an Eagles jersey or whatever.
Right. But it's happening. The bottom line is it's happening, and it doesn't appear to be stopping anytime soon. Now, for the playoff game, oddly enough, there were no Eagles fans. Maybe that was lack of demand.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the Eagles fans cared.
At that point, I think they knew what was coming, right? Because the Eagles had been so bad at the end of the season, like historically bad. So maybe that was a lack of of demand on their part. But clearly, they'll be back this week. And I just, the players are talking about it, by the way. The players are talking about it. And that sucks. That sucks. We need to have more of a home field advantage. And I don't know what the answers are, except we have to have a better fan base. I don't know. We just got to be better. Well, and I still think, 1:00 games in September are nonsense. It's nonsense. The league has got to stop this. We don't have a dome. We don't have shade. This is not hard. Schedule it for at least 4:00. And if you can't do that, why not? Can't we have concurrent night games? I think the NFL really needs to figure this out because, especially for the Bucs. And I know the Bucs talk to them about it. I know they do. They rail about it. Like, can we stop this? You're killing us. But TV runs everything. So I guess they have their certain windows and different packages and everything else. And that's going to rule the day. But for Buck fans, it sucks. It sucks.
But you would think that the NFL would want to sell more primetime games, more double headers on Monday or Thursday, because don't TV networks have to pay more money for the primetime games?
Yeah, they can sell the ads for more money.
Right. So I would think that,
but I think there's also a dynamic of having a solo game where I think you can charge a premium for Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football as a solo game because the audiences are largest. But but if you have two on, I don't know. That's beyond my pay grade. I just know this: if you're supposed to be thinking about the fans, that's a no-brainer.
Well, even like last night when you had the doubleheader for Monday Night Football, they both
and one game was a dog.
Well, they both went to Disney, right? It was on ESPN and on ABC.
And ABC, yeah,
it's the same network,
right? And luckily they did because one game was a dog.
Yeah,
we haven't even talked about Josh Allen. Holy hell!
Yeah,
how good was he last night?
He was.
Did you see what he said after the game?
Uh-huh.
He goes, "It's great being around a bunch of guys that don't worry about their stats and touchdowns.
Wow,
we're all pulling in the right direction." Hello, Stephon Diggs.
Yep. See you later.
Hello, Stephon Diggs.
Seems like that's the second team now that got rid of him that said that.
Yeah, isn't it funny how that works?
Pattern. Sorry, Texans.
And did those teams reach their potential with him on there?
Nope.
He really didn't.
Hope the Texans don't either.
That offseason move, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And I can't help but think that performance last week, which was so uncharacteristic. The week before, Nico Collins has a big week, right? Stephon really hasn't gotten that many targets.
Yep.
And then week 3, suddenly it doesn't look the same.
Weird, huh? By the way, JP, back to the Bucs real quick. I'm taking notes each week of Mike Evans' quest for his 11th 1,000-yard season.
Uh-oh.
It's not looking good, buddy. I mean, it's not out of the question. We're only 3 games in. He started off strong with 61 yards in week 1. Week 2, he got 42 yards. Sunday, he got 17 yards on 2 carries. So there's 14 games left. He's got to average almost 63 yards a game, which isn't out of the realm of possibility, obviously. But he's got to get more involved in the offense. I think the team knows that. Look, great for Chris Godwin. We knew this was going to happen to Chris Godwin when he went back to the slot. That's why they moved him there. But you need both. You can't just have one guy dominating, whether it's Godwin or
you can't force feed it though. I will say this: Evans was open a couple times. Evans was open a couple times and he missed him early on in the game. So those are opportunities, and one of them probably could have been for a big play. So that's on Baker. He ate that after the game. He said, "I got to get the ball out and I got to get the ball to Mike." Bowles said it yesterday. They got to get the ball to Mike. But listen, teams are this 2 weeks in a row, they've had Mike's number, right?
Yep.
And 2 weeks in a row, the Bucs haven't had an answer. Less than 225 yards both weeks. So, and it's harder, if you don't have pass protection, it's harder to get the ball to Mike. But, I would say this, the screen game is open. If you guys got pass rush issues, how do you slow down the pass rush? Well, you run the football, draw plays, screen plays. I didn't see enough screens last week.
And Bucky Irving will excel in those bubble screens.
First of all, you can't find him. If you're a linebacker, you got to sift through those moving linebackers, and then he shows up and he's by you. Yeah, I gotta run 4 screens a game to Bucky Irving. Yeah. 4 different middle screen, backside screen. I get it 4 times a game. That guy's getting the screen pass. Now that's now you're bringing the safeties up, and now a better chance for Mike to get over the top. Yeah. So Liam Cohen knows this, but sometimes and again, you need more possessions. You need to get more first downs, obviously. And this is 2 weeks in a row. This offense has been awful. Not just not good enough, but awful.
Yeah, Mike's targets have gone down, yards per target, from 10.2 in week 1, 7 yards per target on 6 targets in week 2, 5.7 yards per target on just 3 targets with 2 catches in week 3.
Yeah, and it's not just Patrick Surtain. It's just other. He's going to get the best. He's going to get the best corner, but Jalen McMillan's got to get involved too. He's got to get involved. So,
figure it out.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. TJ Reeves is going to join us at 11:30. I want to get into some of the college football stuff as a couple of big games coming up this week. USF had a chance to get to the Pac-12 and said no. Really? Yes, really. Would have been a very dumb move. We'll tell you why when we come back. We are brought to you by Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. They've been in business for over 40 years, another great local company that we love to support. And this is another winner for you folks. They're going to save you money. Let them do all the work. Charity's done it for me multiple times with auto, home insurance. Make sure you have business insurance. There's plenty of ways to save money, folks. Remember, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Back in 3. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Hi, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't forget, the Gold and Diamond Source is not just for the ladies, it's for you guys as well. You can get a nice, beautiful baller watch, as I like to call them. You know, those baller watches,
Yeah.
watches, you know, the tags, the Breitlings, the Rolexes. They got them all kinds there. Great selection. Whatever your budget is, they're not going to try to oversell you at the Gold and Diamond Source. They got, some of the old school stuff like cufflinks. Remember the old cufflinks?
Man, I loved cufflinks back in the 90s. I wore them every day.
Let's sparkle those things up. Get a tie tack or something nice. Get you some bling. You deserve it, boys. You work hard. Go get you something nice.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, and then while you're there, get something for your lady as well. There's tons of beautiful things there that sparkle at the Gold.
And something for your dog. Get you something for your dog.
Don't buy anything for your dog. Do not buy jewelry for your dog. No.
For your dog's girlfriend?
Have you ever been into one of these like dog only stores where they have dog treats that look like human treats?
Yes.
And they're like, and you go, oh, my dog. Just because it looks like a cannoli doesn't mean your dog wants it.
Your dog doesn't care what it looks like.
No, it doesn't care.
They lick each other's butts. Cannoli. They don't care what
they charge you $8 for it. You're like, oh, it's so beautiful. Look at that. It's a cannoli for my. Your dog eats its own poo. You ever? I mean,
it eats others'
$8 on a treat or whatever it is. God,
JP, I ordered
my dog. I'm not spending $9, and they put them in trays like you're at a dessert place. Like I think I'm watching people and they're like, "Oh, give me one of those." Like you're at Dunkin' Donuts. That'd be $45 for 3 dog treats. Now they probably don't care about the money. I get it, but I mean, at that point, if you're doing
JP, I was working the Chiefs game, Chiefs Falcons Sunday night. So obviously after. Since working games since noon, all right, hadn't been able to leave the house, hadn't been able to do much. Was texting with a lady friend of mine. Told her I was hankering for something sweet. Like, man, I could go for some ice cream right now. Well, she even lives out of state. She ordered me via DoorDash this ice cream place that does the hand-rolled, handmade ice cream up the street. 3 pints of ice cream, like different flavors.
She likes you.
Oh, she does. She's a sweetheart. And along with it, she sent a little ice cream treat for the puppy.
Oh,
I guess the store has
pup cup.
A little pup cup, but it's like a little ice cream type. You know, it's soft serve, right? It comes soft serve. If you put it in the freezer, it becomes hard stuff. But for the puppy, it's almost like a milkshake texture, And I poured it in a little cup for him, and man, he went to town Sunday night.
Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah.
He loved.
I'm glad I'm wearing my headphones because Tally be like, "Where's mine, dog?" Yeah. I didn't get no ice cream.
His dog eats better than me.
I gave her a milk bone last night. She spit it out.
Are you serious?
I gave it to her because she gets good treats out. Like I give her way too much human food. If I'm slicing up some sausage or something, she's sitting right there. Like she knows she's getting, we play catch. So I give her, I came home last night and I'm like, let me give them a treat. So I gave her a milk bone. She puts it in her mouth and she just drops it and looks at me like, what the F is, what kind of hard, nasty ass stuff is this?
What kind of barbecue?
The other pup we have is like, he's like, oh, give it to me. Oh, he'll eat anything. He'll eat his own poo. But then Tally went back and got it and ate it because she's like, but I was like, I'm expecting something like, something really good. You're giving me this crap.
Right. That's awesome.
Eat it because you need it for your bad breath, dog. Yeah, that's right. I said your bad breath.
Oh, puppies.
All right. Speaking of poo.
Talking about DJ again?
Yeah, DJ Pooh. Mike Norvell said yesterday in his press conference, he made a really bad joke that he's not moving him to a new position. You get everybody excited about moving him to tight end, and then you say, oh, I'm joking. That's not even funny.
I wonder if he wasn't joking.
Not changing his position, Mike Norvell said. This game, I think, was his worst. And they get down to the 2-yard line, and there's a penalty on the play, and with terrible call, by the way, on offensive holding. You pancake the guy, and you got your arms inside the shoulder pads, and that's not holding people. But so it backs him up to about the 15-yard line, and DJ, on 3rd and long, throws an interception from his own 15-yard line. When you got the best kicker in football, in college football, you got points in the board. You don't. And why the hell Mike Norvell would allow him to read the field and throw it down the field in that situation is ludicrous. Like, what are you doing? Run the goddamn ball. He's going to throw a stupid pick. Oh, there we go. And I mean, so many times he's running the RPO, and you can see that they got numbers on the outside, pull the ball, throw it to the running back and or the tight end and get an explosive play. He can't read pre-snap. He can't read during the play. He can't pull the ball and run because he's a non-factor. He's so slow that you can commit to the running back. And then if he does pull it, you got, 3 or 4 days to get to the sideline and beat him there. So, I mean, it's just none of it works. And so to continue to do this is just mind blowing. And he continues to do this. And it's as I've said, he's lost a fan base. He's probably lost his team. And you got a few games coming down the pike where you can get embarrassed and it can affect your recruiting. Bad seasons are bad seasons. I get it. They've lost, look at Jared Verse wrecking things. And, that talent they had on that team last year clearly was, clearly anybody could have coached it up. But this is the time when you need to be better as a coaching staff. And this staff is falling flat on their face. And Clemson is going to boat race them. And I just can't understand why he will not make the switch. And they go into SMU. They're 4.5-point underdogs on the road. They're finally an underdog, which seems about right. SMU scored 66 points. They just went to their new quarterback. Seems to be, they switched quarterbacks and it ignited their offense. Well, hot damn. How does that work? Like, yeah, works all the time. See Andy Dalton. I mean, you go across the nation. You have a quarterback this bad, everybody's making the switch except you. Bizarre. So that's where FSU is at this week. USF is an interesting story. So they recorded by the new Pac-12. And, obviously having not been in a quote major conference ever, I think the Big East was pretty much a major conference back in the day. But as we know, a P5 or a P4 as it is now, everything's changing. The Pac-12. Oh, okay. So you're adding some teams. They were looking at Memphis. They were looking at adding these better AAC teams, and to their, I think, it definitely was the right decision. They would have had to pay $25 million to get out of the AAC. And from everything we could tell, the new media rights for this new Pac-12, and we don't know what it would have been with everybody in it, but we're not looking at a whole lot of money. We're talking about $10 million a year, maybe $15 million a year, maybe. So, and obviously going across country to play most of your sports, that adds a lot of cost to it. So I think they were right in sticking where they're at in the AAC. Keep that money, start building towards the ACC, which I think is a much better fit for USF and an obvious next move if Florida State and Clemson get out, and I still believe that they will be getting out. Listen, I don't pretend to know what's happening. I can just give you my best guess and I follow the money. The media rights suggest that the FSU should land in the Big Ten once they get their legal troubles behind them, and I think they will. I think that will come to a close here within the next 6 months. So despite all the doom and gloom, I still think there's a clear path forward for Florida State to get into the Big Ten and move forward. What you can't do is have catastrophic losses. The type that, really, I mean, you're embarrassed enough as it is right now as a university with the 0-3 start, historically bad. You were completely overvalued, which is funny. ESPN wants to, make jokes about FSU and, look how far they've fallen. Like they were not really. You were the ones that were voting them in the top 10. Nick Saban is the one who stood on that dais in Dublin and said they have the best defensive line in all of college football. All of you guys had bought into FSU. So now don't suddenly say, "Oh, told you so." You were the one. This team should never have been ranked this high. Never. And preseason rankings for college teams are ridiculous, and even more so now in the portal era. Even more so. So this team is what it is. And it's not, I wouldn't even say it's underperforming by obviously their brand. obviously. But when you look at the players on the field, they're not that good. And the coaching staff has been awful. So, and that, that's on them. They should be better in that regard. But the talent on this team isn't close to what it was last year. I mean, not even close. But your offense should be 128th in major college football. That's terrible. So anyway, so USF is now going to move into this. Their next move, I think they are well positioned to get into the ACC with the new campus coming, new student on campus football stadium, everything. And now go win your conference. Go win you've never won a conference championship. You've had 2 huge games against Miami and against Alabama. You took Alabama to the fourth quarter. You took Miami to the half. Okay. And things unraveled. I get it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Refocus. Go to Tulane this week, get a win your conference. They still have a chance to get into playoff. I think they comported themselves well enough against 2 top 5 teams. I think Miami will win the ACC. I think Alabama has a great shot to, I don't know if they're going to beat Georgia. Georgia still hasn't given up a touchdown this year. Holy shiz. But Alabama, I think, is going to be in the playoffs. So those 2 playoff teams that you lost to, that you can match up and say, we went toe-to-toe with them for the most part. I know the scores got out of hand. Hopefully the committee is not dumb enough just to look at the scores. But I shouldn't give them more credit than that.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah. So go win your conference, and everything will fall into place for USF. And I think it was a great move. Not, Pac-12, probably, hot California girl shaking it. And we can move up into this big time conference, right? With Pac-12, that's a big time conference. Not anymore. It's not anymore.
It's got 2 teams in it.
Yeah, and the teams they're adding are of no significance, are not moving the needle in terms of big time college football. So they made the right decision. Now stand pat, go win your conference, take care of business, and see where it goes after that. I think USF is in great position. They're building at the right time. Florida and FSU, I think, we thought FSU was back. That was premature. That was clearly premature. And until their high school recruiting starts matching up with the big boys, I'm not going to say they're back. I'm not going to say they're back because you can't, because if you do this portal thing every year, it's going to be a yo-yo. It's going to be a yo-yo. And they probably, getting 10 wins and 13 wins in the first 2 years, they overperformed. And now they are regressing to the mean big time. So USF is getting better in recruiting. They have the best class in the AAC coming up this year. They did well last year. So just keep it going. Keep building. It doesn't happen overnight in college football. We kind of thought it did for Florida State to get back to it, but clearly the foundation has not been poured correctly. And for USF, I think they're doing it the right way, and they just got to continue to build. And they got a good coach. They definitely got to find a way to keep their coach, because if he wins the AAC this year, he's going to be in hot demand.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know if Alex Golish has the Jim Levitt in him. I don't think Alex Golish is turning down Alabama like Jim Levitt did. I don't, and that's not anything disparaging on him whatsoever. He's a football coach. He aspires to something more. No disrespect to USF at all. But if they win the AAC this year and they win 10, 11 games, he gets into the playoff, he's going to be the hottest commodity in the SEC and the Big Ten. The next big job that comes up, his name's going to be there. And, will he stick around? We'll see. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And but that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. It means you're winning. Yeah. And that's just part of it. And by the way, don't get mad at me because I mentioned that. That's the system. It's not me. So
how dare you, JP?
Oh, so now you're trying to run our coach off. No, I'm just recognizing the obvious things that happen in these situations. That's why it's so hard for programs like USF to build, because when you do have success, they come and get your coach. It's hard. It's really hard. Then you got to go find another good one. So, but you can do it. Look what UCF has done it. They got to the Big 12. Should have been USF. We all know that. So now you're back on track. Keep it going. All right, and the Gators this week. Big week for them. They're off.
Hey, there's not going to be an L.
There's no L this weekend for them. And then they got UCF coming in October 5th. And UCF has Colorado this week. Right in the bounce house.
That could get ugly, right?
Coach Prime. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it could. I think everybody wants to embarrass Colorado, and there'd be a lot of distractions for Coach Prime coming back to Florida, coming back to his home state of Florida. Well, I guess I was going to say, they'll have a lot of recruits there, but he didn't recruit high school players.
No, he doesn't have to.
Yeah. So I guess maybe there won't be a lot of recruits there for Deion. I'm sure he's going to try to bring in a bunch, right? This is a great opportunity. Teams playing in Orlando. Boy, they could fill the Citrus Bowl if they wanted to, but they'll you want to keep it on campus and go get them. Go get them, UCF. That should be a fun game. Looking forward to that. What time is that?
I will be paying attention.
I think it's a night game.
To
FSU is at 8:00 as well. So you got FSU, SMU at 8:00. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the UCF Colorado game is a night game. Is it not?
2:30 p.m. That's Central Time, so 3:30 Eastern.
Okay, yeah, and I believe Big Noon Kickoff is coming to Orlando.
Oh yeah,
Rob Stone and the boys. I got to see if I can get Rob on the show. Let me mark that down. Let me write that down. Get old Robbie Stone on the show this week, and should have Smoltzy on as well. Take that, Scott Reynolds. We're filling your spot.
Yeah, they are in Orlando. Yeah, you're right. That's awesome.
All right, does that pretty much cover it? Who's Miami got this week? They got Virginia Tech at home. Virginia Tech. What the hell happened to them?
Yeah, they've fallen off too. Huh?
They've fallen off the map. Yeah. So listen to Miami's schedule, by the way. Virginia Tech at home. Then they got to go to Cal. It's a long trip. They got to go at Cal and at Louisville, but there's an open week in between. At Louisville looks pretty good. Look, Louisville could be a test for them. Then they got Florida State at home.
Oops.
That is going to be an ass whooping. October 26th. And then they got Duke at home.
The Dukies.
Duke's undefeated, I think. Aren't they? I haven't played anybody. But then they're at Georgia Tech.
With a new coach and a new quarterback, too.
Yeah. At Georgia Tech on November 9th. Georgia Tech, obviously, not that
Haynes
great.
King.
Wake Forest at home in Syracuse. No Clemson on that schedule.
Nope.
Now they'll probably play Clemson in the ACC championship game, though. So, but that's a cakewalk.
And I was going to say, is anybody scared of that game? If you're a Canes fan?
Yeah, Clemson seems to figure something out. Yeah, watch out.
Give me Cam Ward against that secondary any day.
They what is the score? 6-6 at halftime with Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now Klubnik. They roasted NC State 28-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, I know NC State usually has a pretty good defense under Dave Doran, but obviously not this game. Maybe because
You jinxed them?
I did. Getting 17 points at home. And I'm like, Clemson's offense not that great. Whoops, I guess they are. Yeah. When you see something, historical happening, you can bet that I'm betting on the other side. You can take that to the bank. But that is a cakewalk schedule for Miami. They're walking right into the ACC championship.
Yep, I think so too.
Because Florida State sucks this year. And Florida wasn't good. And you look at their schedule to begin the season, right? At Florida, having Florida State on their schedule. I mean, still pretty damn easy. Pretty damn easy. But good for them. We'll see what happens. I don't think they're winning the national championship. I think they'll make the playoff, but I don't think they're winning. If they I think they'll get to the ACC championship game. Play Clemson, see what happens there. But I think they both will get into the playoff. If it's Clemson and Miami, they both have one or two losses. They're both getting into the playoff.
You know what would be a very Clemson thing to do this year?
Clemsoning again?
Lose to Florida State.
Dude, that is not happening. That is not happening. It's not, dude. I know you think Florida State, they got athletes. I get it. A rivalry game, anything can happen. No.
Well, it's also because it's Clemson.
You lost to Memphis, who lost an 80.
I understand that, but all records are out the window.
Against Memphis. Navy scored 55. Their quarterback ran 12 times for 212 yards and 4 touchdowns. Did our quarterback do that against Memphis?
You know what? We're 2 weeks away from the game. I'm calling it. October 5th. Look out. Florida State 22, Clemson 17.
Miami. Clemson. Oh, we're going to beat Clemson too?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's Florida State will beat Clemson. Not my. No,
I thought you said they're going to beat Miami.
No.
They're not going to beat either one.
No, I think they beat Clemson. Just told you the score: 22-17, Florida State.
All right, please.
October 5th.
I'll give how many points? I'll give you 20 points.
Can't believe I'm betting on Florida State to win.
I'll give you 20 points because that's the spread in that game's got to be 24 points.
At least. At least, right? I don't know. Let me see what Florida State does against SMU here Saturday. I'll be there. Maybe I'll finagle my way into the locker room.
That says that SMU is terrible.
They're not terrible.
They're 3-1.
They're not terrible. No, they're not terrible. Why does he think that?
Well, he looked at the tape and said they're terrible.
Okay, they're 3-1.
Yeah, and they scored 66 points against TCU? We haven't scored 66 points all season.
TCU's not great. 66-42 against, but TCU's not great, but SMU's not terrible. Why do you say that?
Because he looked at the tape, said they're dog crap on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
He hasn't even watched the game.
No, he's watched the game.
I love you, Pat, but come on, man.
They're 4.5-point favorites. All right, quick break. When we come back, TJ Reeves is going to join us. And we'll get his thoughts on all things college football and Buccaneers, of course. We're brought to you by Extravaganza Productions. Great folks over there. If you got an event coming up, a charity event, a big birthday, got a business event, or you need the pros to come in and do the audio visual, need some creative help for your event, they do that too. Get a free creative meeting from the great producers at Extravaganza Productions. Tour their beautiful and voluminous warehouse with tons of props to make your party the very, very best it can be, or your event. It's extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3 with TJ. Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Gold and Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry. From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Gold and Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the U.S. Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC. Go to their website, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. If you have any issues with your AC or plumbing or anything in your house, actually, they can do it all. And tell them JP sent you. Third Generation says it all. They've been doing business here since 1995. Because people love the honesty, love the work that they do. Get techs out there that show up professionally dressed, very professional in their appearance and their work. That means something. It's thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Go to the website, contact them through there, and tell them JP sent you. All right, speaking of professionals, let's bring in the man, the myth, TJ Reeves. He is an icon.
I don't know about professionally dressed, but we are here for success in the segment. Yes,
how about
no
that
doubt.
picture with you, Timmy Brando, and Gene Deckerhoff that you shared with the world?
3 legends.
3 legends. I can't believe I didn't get that picture as well. You guys were in the press box, and I missed
I'm sorry that we didn't get
I?
it for the audience that did not see it. There is the picture that JP is referencing. Mr. Brando, on about 6 hours of sleep in the previous 72 hours, I think, had come in from doing the Illinois-Nebraska game late Friday night, which was an overtime game on Fox. Had to fly all morning to get to Tampa.
Illinois won that game?
The breakdown. Illinois won the game. By the way, did we ever think back in the 70s and 80s, you and I are older, JP, Timmy, you're kind of our contemporary as well. Did we ever think in the 70s and the 80s you would say Nebraska has lost 25 consecutive games to top 25 teams? That's an even number.
Tom Osborne is rolling over in his grave somewhere.
Yeah. I think he's still living, but he would be rolling over in his grave. That's true. It could be killing him. I don't know.
We kill so many people on the show. I'm like,
are you serious?
25. Take a look. Take a look. I don't know.
Isn't he still the senator?
He was
87. He's still. I'm sorry, Tom.
Tom's still hanging in. Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer still hanging in.
Oh yeah.
FSU played them like 17 times in a row in bowl games. What a class! He and Bobby talk about 2 class acts and legends.
But Nebraska. My point is, Nebraska has lost 25 consecutive games to a top 25 team. How the mighty have fallen. But anyway, Timmy B did that game. He was here for the weekend. And I have put it out there to him. You're not welcome back anytime soon because whenever he shows up, it's like kryptonite. Well, you know what? We'll credit Denver more than we'll blame Timmy B. here at this point. I'm sure that we'll get into that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Nostalgia with Tim and with Gene. Tim Brando was doing Metro Conference basketball. Kids, if you're not aware, the Metro Conference in the 70s and the 80s was like Louisville, Florida State, Memphis State. Exactly. Timmy B was doing Metro Conference basketball TV in the early to mid 80s when Gene Deckerhoff was doing the Seminoles on the radio.
With me.
Yes, 40 years later, here we all are. Hanging and still around. So, good.
I remember calling a game. I don't know if I called it or I was watching it, but I was there in Tallahassee. I think we called it with a guy by the name of Del Curry.
Yes,
for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Sitting in front of me, right on the sideline at almost mid-court, saying, "Watch this."
Boom.
Nothing but net.
Boom.
Nothing but net. 5 in a row. And you know what? He gave birth to a kid that
the kid did the same thing.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
And by the way,
his dad could have done that in his game, but the coaches wouldn't let him shoot it.
Well, right. And the 3-point shot wasn't, I don't think the 3-point shot was in effect or had just come in the ACC in those days. But Del Curry, I think at one point he may not be anymore, the all-time leading scorer at Virginia Tech in the Metro Conference. And of course, now he's just known as Steph's dad.
God, we can sit here and talk about Alton Lee Gibson beating Memphis State back in the day for FSU. Yeah.
All I know is I remember all of those battles. Keith Lee, Andre Turner in my 1980s with the long Jerry curl.
Oh, yeah.
6'10" and about 210 pounds, but could light it up. Keith Lee, Andre Turner in Memphis State in the 80s. Who were the Knowles, the precursor to the Knowles of like Douglas Edwards and Sam Cassell and those guys in the 90s? Who were the precursor in the 80s?
Wiggins.
All right.
Mitchell Wiggins. Remember Mitchell
Wiggins, yes.
Yeah. Mitchell Wiggins was an all-Metro performer.
Yes.
Dean Schaefer was the white kid.
Never Nervous Purvis Ellison in Louisville won the national title in 1986 in Reunion Arena in Dallas over Duke. And Purvis Ellison later the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft out of Louisville in the Metro Conference while we talk about this.
Metro Conference, back in the day.
USF eventually in the Metro, UAB in the Metro. So Tim was reminiscing with Gene, and that's how we brought all of this up here on the program. Have we
by the way, 1986, the first year of the college 3-point line.
So yes,
there you go. I remembered it was.
And remember, the ACC had like the 17-foot 3-point line. Remember that? They experimented like 1 year with it, like 16. 9 or 17 feet.
Different conferences were doing different things.
And Ralph Sampson was shooting 3-point shots like at the inside the top of the key for Virginia in the ACC. And Michael Jordan was experimenting 1 year with a 3-point shot. It was crazy back in the 80s. Have we evaded and eluded talking BUCCANEERS Go Bucks?
You were there on the field. Well, did you sense in the pregame that they were actually in a coma? Did you touch anyone's wrist to see if they had a pulse?
I was not walking around to see if
holding mirrors up in front of their mouths.
So I would love to sit here on the JP Peterson show and tell you that I was not concerned going into that game. I was concerned all week going into that game for a multitude of reasons, not the least of which is emotional win at Detroit, like you've been laying out, injured, and now you're coming back home with everybody not only telling you how good you are, Tom Brady's proclaiming to the universe that you're a top 5 NFL team on his power rankings. What do you have, 3? Okay, so you're seeing that, you're hearing that, you're hearing how awful Denver is, rookie quarterback. And then I'm going on a Denver show. I went on 2 of them, and they're going, well, Bo Nix has been terrible. And I said, guys, I have lived this. You have as well. Buccaneer fans have lived this for 40 years. That the rookie quarterback or the first-time starting quarterback always seems to have success, no matter the coach, no matter the personnel. They always seem to have success against his team. I am refusing to go into this game thinking that the Bucs have a built-in advantage because Bo Nix is a rookie quarterback. And lo and behold, he performed as well as he performed. What was that stat that Nick Geddes gave yesterday on the show that on passes of 5 yards or more, he had been like 11 of 38 in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was every reason to think that he's going to struggle, but I was just dubious that you got to go out there
and throws a laser back shoulder to Cortland Sutton on the first play for 22 yards, and then throws a beautiful fade route right over the top.
Zion McCollum right over him.
I mean, and then the rest of the game,
it was they're playing
12 yards off the ball and just
I did not understand. We're not defensive coordinators. We're not Todd Bowles. We're not Casey Rogers. We just play them on fan streams. Okay, but as you said, when you're not generating the pass rush to knock him down and you're playing 12 yards off the ball, it's easy pitch and catch. And you're putting
no mental stress on a rookie quarterback whatsoever.
And so that adjustment wasn't there. But anyway, back to your original question. I did sense this was trouble, and it was obvious from the beginning of the game. They didn't have the same sense of urgency. I don't want to say that they took Denver lightly. I don't want to say that they were overconfident. I just don't think they were on it like they were in Detroit, because in Detroit, you had to be on it with the loud crowd and the opponent you were playing.
Energy. Yeah.
And then by the time they began to figure things out, you're looking up and it's 14-0, 17-0. And I'm saying on Buccaneers radio, if you don't think this score is reverberating all over the internet and all around the NFL and all the stadiums, when it suddenly says Denver 7-0, Denver 14-0, Denver 17-0 at Tampa Bay, it was crazy. And they dug too big of a hole. The defense got worn down. Denver did to the Buccaneers what the Buccaneers were hoping to do to them in the darker jerseys and wore them down late in the first half and in the third quarter. And disappointing that's what happened on Sunday.
But the reality is, TJ and Timmy, you know this, it happens every week. Happens every week in this freaking league. And we should not be surprised. My good friend Brian Fasula and I were having breakfast at Palmacy on Sunday morning. We're going over to pay, and he said, "What do you think about the Bucs today?" I said, "I love the Bucs today." I mean, I watched some of the film of Bo Nix. I watched the condensed. He can't hit the broadside of a barn. He has no confidence whatsoever. And from what I saw from this defense last week, they ate and they tackled and they did they did really, really well in the secondary. I'm expecting at least 2 picks today.
I hope the breakfast was good at Palmacia, because that was probably that was the high point of the day, as it turns out, with what you handled.
Benedict with the sausage and the Cuban toast. And
I know. That was the high point of the day, because then they got out there and they didn't knock him down. They didn't pressure him. They fell behind. It changed the whole dynamic of the game.
We did fan the conversation by saying, okay, we're both going to bet the Bucs. And we both looked at each other and said, they're going to get their ass kicked today.
Oh, God.
Because we just bet on them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Because, in retrospect, you always do this, right? We should have seen it. They were injured, coming off a big win, an emotional win. The other team is desperate. Sean Payton v. Todd Bowles. Should have saw that coming.
Sean Payton, go back to pick any Buccaneer coach. Go back to Raheem Morris. Go back to the name we don't mention. Go back to Lovie Smith. Go back to Dirk Cutter. Go back to Bruce Arians' first year with Todd Bowles as the defensive coordinator. He has been masterful against the Buccaneers with being able to figure things out and scheme. And obviously Vance Joseph is an outstanding defensive coordinator, and he had things up his sleeve.
Energy, man. From my view, you see a different speed with teams, right? At certain times. Last week you saw a different speed from the Buccaneers. Their defense was so fast to the ball and so physical. It was just a different speed. And it was so different, on Sunday. Missing tackle after tackle after tackle. It's just whatever. Like, I kind of went through the schedule of what the Bucs did this week, because I think Todd was trying to rest his team coming off that win. And whatever they did, I would never do it again, because they were flat as pancakes.
Right.
And, but it's the NFL. You move on. It doesn't mean the Bucs are terrible.
That's right.
It doesn't mean that the Broncos are suddenly great. It's 1 week. It's one matchup. It's one energy level. You come back next week against a Philly team that's going to be pissed off, by the way, and the Bucs will be sufficiently pissed off as well.
In another September 1 p.m. kickoff, too, by the way.
That's correct. Another hot one with them in the dark jerseys, presumably. And you make a great point that if you'd won the game, you're probably one of the talks of the NFL. Right now, all those 3-0 teams are talks of the NFL. Buffalo Bills included last night, along with the Seattle Seahawks, along with the Steelers and Justin Fields, the Vikings. How about the Vikings and the Steelers both start 3-0 with brand new quarterbacks? I mean, that's coaching, that's preparation. Give them credit.
Steelers with a backup quarterback.
Yes, brand new backup quarterback. But my point is, if you win that game, everybody's talking about momentum. We would have loved this, but now you lose it, and maybe in some ways it's good to refocus you, because those guys came out of that game saying that we weren't ready to go. We got to be on point, or this is going to happen again, and you don't want it to happen twice in a row. Now, obviously, in this situation with Philadelphia, and they will be much more emotionally ready for the Eagles and what this brings and the recent rivalry with them. And a lot of the players are the same players the last 2 or 3 years that have gone against each other. So
Devin
I
White
suspect
coming back to town, by the way.
What's that?
Devin White coming back to town, by the way.
Devin White, who has not seen a snap so far in the first 3 games. Why do I get the feeling they're going to activate him for Sunday and at least have him available? We'll see.
I hope so.
We'll see if that's the case. But
I hope he plays.
And look, Philadelphia, I know they won the wild high-scoring game with Green Bay, but they have not exactly looked stellar, especially without A.J. Brown the last 2 weeks on offense. So they
probably won't play this week either.
There's some opportunities, and Devontae Smith is in concussion protocol.
Oh, did you see that hit?
Yes,
that was brutal.
Which I keep waiting to see. Is that going to be a finable offense?
Where's the whistle?
They've already released the fines, right? Like we would have known by now.
I don't know. So we'll see if that is, but he may be out for this week, and that's advantage Buccaneers. And look, I'm not excuse making, but this is not the same defense with not one or both of Kalijah Kancey and Vita Vea, especially in the middle, and Antoine Winfield in the back playing safety. I mean, it is not the same defense, not as it's constituted, especially with those guys getting the push.
Zero pressure.
So hopefully one of those guys at defensive tackle can go. I was told that Vita Vea is going to probably try to practice later this week, unless there's a setback. And so maybe there's some hope that he can go. There was debate last week. He was limited, I guess, late last week that he could play last week. So they're going to give it an extra few days here and see what he can do. Maybe Winfield can play, and that helps. But I agree with you on the faster start on offense. And one other variable here, and we saw that with Dave Canales' offense last year, and we see it all over the NFL, that once you've put something on tape for a couple of games, and now it's 3 games, everybody has seen things that you are doing and trends, and you've got to adjust to the adjustments they are making. You've got to self-scout and understand they know what to take away. They know what kind of blitzes. I mean, you think Vance Joseph wasn't ready with blitzes from different angles and delayed blitzes? They were clobbering the Buccaneer pass protection with those blitzes because they had seen 2 weeks of it with Liam Cohen. And so now you've got to adjust to that moving forward. It is a punch, counter punch adjustment league, and you're going to have to adjust some of that. I liked what I saw initially out of the locker room. They came out with a couple of looks that they hadn't shown yet. They both worked. You're rolling, you're down 17-7, and then you can't pass protect. You can't basic pass protect. And I know
where the problem is this interior line that we thought was going to be better is not yet. Bredesen got worked a couple times one-on-one. Cody Mount got worked twice back-to-back for sacks. Like quick
yes,
pressure.
Beaten immediately with the plays blown up. Right,
and
right.
You get quick pressure up the middle. There's no call for that. And Graham Martin is trying to help, but one time he pushed his guy so far that it knocked Wirfs off the twist that was coming, and so I think they can be better in the middle, but they got to fix that quickly.
Well, if you throw your running back there to help block, now you're taking your running back out of the play.
And if you noticed, and you can't to your point, if you noticed, they put Rashad White and Bucky Irving right up in the A gap in front of the shotgun snap. Like, okay, we realize this is a problem, and we're just going to sacrifice him as the extra body there in the middle.
3 guys in a pattern against 6.
Yeah.
Look, and if you look at the whole grand scheme of everything that's happened this year, we're 3 weeks in.
Right.
The Bucs have played 3 games with Kancey, Vea, Winfield, all missing significant time.
Right.
Mike Evans has had 2 off games. Baker Mayfield is not clicking yet. They're 2-1.
Correct.
They're exactly where I thought they would be after 3 weeks. I thought the loss would be to the Lions, but they're still 2-1.
True.
They're without some of their best players. Baker's not clicking yet. There's nowhere to go but up.
Listen
here.
To Timmy. Timmy's selling the optimism on a TJ Optimism Tuesday. Timmy's selling a little optimism. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I like where they're at.
What the hell's going on?
And you gotta look at this week as reclaim some things offensively. I said this, and it's obvious that Rachaad White is trying. He has got a strained groin. He has normally not got the fastest first step. He certainly doesn't have as fast a first step as Bucky Irving has, but he looked a little tentative at times on Sunday, and I think it's because he's hurting. You got to try to get him healthy. Even during the season, the same explosiveness, even from Rachaad, is not necessarily there. There were a couple of times where you saw a glimpse of it, where he had a little room and he could take off and make something happen. So that's another variable. Everybody's dealing with bumps, with tissue injuries, with being banged up. We don't have another 10 minutes because you're almost done here to go on and on about how nobody hits anybody with two-a-days in training camp and nobody plays the preseason games anymore. So what are the first 2 or 3 games of the year? It's essentially training camp in the preseason where you're hitting everybody full steam. So everybody's banged up the first couple, 3 weeks of the season. So you got to heal up a little bit. But I think one of the things that we have to pay attention to, what are the adjustments now that Liam Cohen's got 3 games on tape with the offense? And what do we see a little differently? Draw play, screen game gets back more effective. Can you protect it better to get stuff down the field? There were examples, and you were seeing it better up high, and I've now seen the TV copy of the game. There were times where there were people open or coming open down the field, and he didn't have time to see them, or he looked away on his own because he got skittish. He's seeing ghosts. Baker, we're talking about. But there were times when there were people open, so you got to take it. Yeah.
You can't, that's when you lose it. That's when quarterbacks lose it. He's got to be able to look over the middle and look over the top.
And you know this, he's shorter down here. He's shorter, and when they're coming right at you in the middle, you've got to move to be able to see who is open, and that's where you saw him start to jump around.
And he can't move to his right now because you got Justin School there,
right, and Cody Mauk. So I thought it was don't listen to us. All right. Do you know what? Do listen to JP Peterson. But don't listen to us on the X's and O's. Listen to them. When they are saying we couldn't run the same stuff that we like to run when Luke Gedicke's in there, and what they partially mean by that, Baker Mayfield said that. What they partially mean, he didn't come right out and say, we couldn't run the same stuff because Luke Gedicke's not in there, but he said with something to the effect of, with Luke out of there, we had to change what we're doing. What they mean is they can leave him on an island 75% of the time and say, block whoever you're supposed to block, and we don't have to worry about that by and large.
Right.
They're at a point right now early in the season where they can't trust that after the last 2 weeks. So hopefully Gedicke's healthy, but that's another part of the confidence factor. All I know is get off to a better start. If you win the toss, go down the field and get a touchdown. For God's sake, it's been since the end of 2022. Go get a touchdown. If you're on defense right away at home, get the crowd up on their feet and go blast Jalen Hurts or pick him off or do something to get the crowd in the game, and then just go from there.
He'll throw it to you. No question about it.
Yes.
All right. What else is on your mind from a football standpoint?
Listen, well, I mean, which was the more amazing thing coming off of last night, that we had a Monday night game where nobody punted and there were no turnovers. The only thing were 2 kneel downs at the end of the first half and the end of the second half. That's the first time since 1940, and they're still going back to look, that an NFL game had no punts, no turnovers. Just score, or kneel down at the end of the half.
Washington Commanders game win for the Buccaneers is looking really good.
It does. All right, so what's crazier, that, or I know you love this for entertainment purposes only, the Washington Commanders last night became the 10th team already to be at least a 5.5-point underdog, joining the Denver Broncos Sunday against the Bucs, joining the Bucs the previous week against the Lions. 10 J.P. Peterson teams favored to lose by 5.5 or more. 5.5 or more underdogs won the game outright.
Yep.
As the Commanders did last night. So upsets are abounding. I mean, again,
the underdogs.
Again, we gotta wait and see on all this. But Carolina goes to the Raiders I know Andy Dalton was going to make a difference, but they demolished them for 4 quarters. Go figure that game. Go figure that game with the Raiders home opener.
Did you see Bryce Young in the post-game celebration?
He looked less than enthused, I believe.
I don't think you saw him.
By the way, everybody stay safe. I know you're saying this. It is Tuesday. As Tuesday afternoon becomes Tuesday night. Hurricane Helene. She's actually going to be what? Hump Day Helene. It's more Wednesday and Wednesday night. I'm dubbing it Hump Day Helene.
I think I dated her.
Coming into our area. Everybody be safe.
It was going to be Thursday.
Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, we're going to know more about what it's going to do. Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, it becomes more of a problem. But everybody stay safe, and we'll see what it means for all of the football this weekend in Florida. This is all obviously secondary, but I mean, you got a massive UCF Colorado game. What are you doing about that on Saturday afternoon? Buccaneer game
out of here by
Sunday. Well, we hope so.
Yeah, it should be way up into. I mean, they got more worries about rain in Kentucky.
And by the way, Atlanta's playing in New Orleans, or Atlanta is hosting New Orleans in the Georgia Dome, or the Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Sunday. So let's just see. Lots of variables. Everybody stay safe. Everybody stay safe with the tropical storm that's going to become a hurricane over the next day or two. We'll keep an eye on it. This is what we do.
Y'all come hang out in Dallas. It's supposed to be 82 degrees.
We got to come your way
on Thursday.
We got to come your way and get out of harm's way, whatever Helene is going to do. So everybody stay safe. Remain optimistic.
Jay, appreciate it, buddy.
We'll see what happens with the Bucs and the Eagles, and I'm happy to join you.
And
hopefully in the aftermath of a win that gets you back on track next week.
Even though we're lost, it's always fun to hear the Nothing But Bucs podcast.
Yes. So we're not a lot of Buccaneer highlights, but we did our best, and we gave some analysis. Nothing But Bucs podcast. Fire the cannons occasionally this past Sunday. Let's hope they fire a lot from Mean Gene for this week. But wherever you get podcasts, Buccaneers mobile app, Nothing But Bucs. Great. And we look forward to the Bucs and the Eagles on Sunday. Thank you, boys.
Thank you, TJ. All righty. That was a rather fun and rousing edition of the JP Peterson Show here today. We had some,
always is. What do you mean?
As we always do.
You act surprised.
And I think for most of you out there who enjoy somewhat intelligent sports talk, it's good to hear some old heads talking, sports.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young heads talking sports these days.
And they don't know anything.
Yeah, it's not as fun with the perspective that we can bring.
Right. Young heads don't have any perspective.
Who's going to bring you Del Curry stories and Alton Lee Gibson and Keith Lee like my man TJ did? We're talking about old Metro Conference. Who's going to – and most of you are going like, well, who cares about that?
It matters.
Fun stuff. It's fun stuff.
I still think Seth Curry's better than his brother, but we'll leave it at that. We all know I hate the NBA anyway, so.
Did you see Caitlin Clark get poked in the eye last night by
Yes.
Yeah. That's interesting.
You can't have women's basketball, especially in the playoffs, without having some drama, JP. You should know this.
Of course. Absolutely. Well, the men are even worse. All right. Big thanks to all our great sponsors out there. Please support them and tell them JP sent you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast version of this show each and every day. You can listen to it if you don't want to listen to. Nobody's listening to the radio anymore anyway, are they?
No.
Podcast, yeah. So you're on your way home, just pop on the JP Peterson Show podcast. We do it in the morning, but it's still fresh for you at 4 or 5 o'clock on your way home. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.